have two of these regular old pens. This one I'm using them both as knitting needles because I'm bored. I left my knitting bag at home that has all of my, usual knitting. Knitting's pretty simple. You just, once you have the project started, it's easy. You just slip that pen into that loop behind that pen. Around. Kind of catches on the yarn sometimes. It makes it a little more difficult, but if it can be done, I can figure it out. Sometimes I like being creative in other ways too. I can tell you probably about 30 different uses for a pen, but since I'm at a elementary school, I'll save that for another day. This end just wants to stay. I'll show you that real quick. To tuck an end on this thicker stuff, with thinner yarn, you would need a needle. I don't have that here, and this is thick yarn, so I mean, look how big the holes are. So I just kind of pull another loop loose a little bit, and then pop it through there, and kind of give it a little bit. And that end is gone. Really easy. I gotta go. Yeah. Being creative, fun. You always find something to do. Like, you don't understand why other people get bored and don't. Although if I didn't have these, I probably would be one of those going, okay, now what do I do? But just in this room, I could think of, I don't know, 10, maybe 15 different things I could do. And if nothing else, my phone. That's what I'm recording on. I'm on my phone. I could actually just get on my phone and play a video game. When we got bored, classic stories like it's the island, tourist experience island, so sort of, that's all I remember. Monday, Friday, Tuesday, I don't know. And then, but the family was, I don't know, interesting because there was a whole family and there were so many neat things that they did on the island. And I remember more from the movie than I do the books, which is pretty normal for a third grader. Because, well, especially a third grader with ADHD, sitting still that long. I was reading the words out loud, but I wasn't focused, I guess, on the story. I was more focused on the words and making sure that I got the enunciation correct and that I knew what each letter sound was. I was more focused on that than the actual story, but it still was kind of fun. And when we weren't doing that, Grandpa had this amazing library that he made for us. We actually dumpster dove for most of those books. We went to the library in Chambersburg, Pennsylvania, and every Saturday when Grandma was tired of us making messes in her house, Grandpa would take us out and we would go to the library. Either we would sit in the library and read books, or we would make messes in the library and they would chase us out. It happened more often than probably anybody would like to admit. But that was fun too. That I really enjoyed the puppet. They had like this puppet stand in the children's section. And I loved going in there and playing with the puppets. And then they had, it was like this puppet theater thing. And there was a whole playhouse area where we could like dress up and put on crazy costumes. And we just had, but apparently we got too loud. So then Grandpa started taking us to the hobby shop across the street, and I got in trouble there because I saw way too many things I could play with in there. Until the one day my sister came scared for emergencies, and I also learned about how people with seizures. So when we got to first day of class school and the teacher told me you're not supposed to give the person having CPR, I was like, and I said, well, my sister had one in the library in the parking lot. And I remember here, so then I was just like, I was so blown away. I never knew video games could be fun and educational. It's like and it was fun, but there really wasn't much like thinking involved. It was just because jogger across the street without letting it get squished, or you had to hit that little dot back to the other fun games. There was another one too. There was a racing one, and then there was a shooting one, like trying to get the aliens before they get to your ship. Those were fun too. Alien Invaders. That was a fun game. And then Pac-Man, it's like a pizza place. They had an arcade. They had a pool table. I had lots of fun in there. And I had no idea these games could be educational until I went into the library and started computer in the library. And I was playing Oregon Trail, and I was learning about the people on the Oregon Trail and how difficult it was for them. I learned about the kind of foods they ate and the different things that happened on the trail. It was really interesting and fun at the same time. I also learned how to do math with decimals. It was like, I was just so curious, and these games were really fun to me. And after I finished doing so many math problems, there was a rock, paper, scissors game. I could sit there for hours and hours and play these math games. And then there was one called Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego? I learned a lot about the countries and their capitals, about the United States and the state capitals. And I learned words like, I had a dictionary in my house, and I could look up words, and they were interesting. And when I got in trouble and had to sit there and make a list of words and their definitions, it occupied my time, but it wasn't as much fun as the game. Sometimes video games just make, learning more fun. this, I don't know why it holds my attention. It's just very intriguing to me. A string can turn into something else. Like, seriously. Who knew? Shows and how fast they could get this babies or little booties attached to each other or mittens attached to each other. It's just like, I was so blown away by that. And just sitting there, I guess I picked it up without realizing any two cylindrical objects. It's also that I think state parks, they have these insane little road activity kits, and you can teach your kid to do literally anything from those kits. I was just shocked that they have so many interesting. You can teach your child how to weave on the road. Like, really? or knit or anything. So they had like cross stitch stuff. They had little activity kits, and I was just like, oh my gosh, we could have so much fun with this stuff on the road. But more than I was willing to pay, so those. And then I asked the boys if they were interested in knitting, and they were like, seriously, Mom, really? But they're 16 and 21, so they're just like, they would rather play punch bug or watch the road map than learn how to do something fun on the road. These guys, they're too much. But they're so cute. So, we love them anyway. Right now, Josh is next door, and he's doing his observation time for becoming a U.S. history teacher. I don't know, it's kind of knowing, my child is really steps away from moving out of my house. And I'm so used to him being about as big as this thing of yarn. So it's kind of sad, but it's like I've been in denial for all this time. Like, and I was like, yay, he's graduating high school, he's growing up. But now I'm like, at some point he's gonna have to move out of my house, and I'm gonna miss him. So I don't know what I'm gonna do when he moves out. But it's cool. I'll figure something out. Hunter's a junior this year, so when he moves out, that's gonna be, I think, a lot harder because he's the baby. He wants to be a chemistry teacher, high school chemistry, so he'll be doing time over there for a while too, so that'll be cool. So I'll get to still spend some time with my Hunter. I hope observation time. You never know. I mean, he's planning to go to Fresno State. We have connections in Fresno schools. Just not ready to let my little baby go. Feel free to hit the subscribe button. And I'm so happy fun making them. So, so I'll have to the other thing I find fun and fascinating is making makeup videos. But I don't exactly keep a travel makeup kit in my locker. That would be weird, I think. I'd probably think homeless and wonder why. So stop this. I'm telling you. And I just pulled it loose and loose again. Pull this thing back through there. There we go. And this is actually our staff lounge. But it is so much fun to hide in here and play around. And there's nothing else to do. It's like it's almost a lot more. The kids saying right now, they're just like, it's been raining and they haven't had outside recess, so they haven't like been able to run and do the crazy stuff they usually do. So they're just a little bit nuts. There. And I in there I could act, and I just thought this was the most awesome ever. Restroom or the restroom. She did not, because there was that much snow. And once we went all the way, darted out the door. It's out in the snow, and she's on top of it and looking around, like sniffing. All she smells is water. So she's just, and then she goes, oh, maybe if I hop. So she starts to like hopping thing. That was so funny, and it was just too much. We're just standing there. I think she thought she was gonna dart out the door and like run off to the stables to roll in the horse manure, but that day she didn't make it to the stables. It was too much. And then she finally realized she really had to go, and she just let loose, and oh my gosh, it was too much. She was just like looking like, what is this? Oh my goodness, it was too much. And then she came, and she's just like all crazy and happy because she's back in the house and out of that crazy snow. And after that, we had to take her out on the leash because she would not go outside. So I kid you not, we're like pulling this leash and dragging this dog out the door because she's like got the brakes on like this. And oh my goodness, it was too much. And then there were when I was 16 or 17, and there was ice everywhere. It was still low enough that she can do whatever she needed to do. She disappeared, and they were saying, you know, this is going to be like the worst snowstorm of the year. And I just untied her because we had her outside on her lead. She had like one of those really cool runner things that went across both sides of the yard. And my dad like jerry rigged this thing, and it was so cool too. And this clip, and the really on it, it just was always standing up and down on her. Because if we let, she got, but yeah, she was always, and we didn't know where they, but they were, and they were like, I don't know, maybe as big as come in and gave them a bag. They'd roll in, and they were hungry, so we fed them. Then why do you have puppies? And we told them, well, they're just little babies, and they were out there by the road in front of our house, So we brought them in and we played with them and we got them clean. Yeah, they weren't too happy about that. So we had, but having a blast running. These were just, and towels they chewed. They were at our house, which is probably having work. He was just like, spank us, we're gonna be in trouble again. And then he told us that if we ever found puppies again, to, I'm like, okay, fine. My house, and she was like, they're rodents. We're